Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me today here back in Planet Zoo. And we're back in our new zoo. This is Volcano Bay. And I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is our sort of billionaire's playground. So just imagine you were very, very rich and could build the most expensive, over-the-top, extravagant zoo you can imagine. And that's basically what we're aiming for here. So we have our little entrance area with our big dome and our fake volcano and our funky building here, which isn't serving a lot of purpose, but it looks kind of cool. So I had a lot of fun with that. And over here in the last episode we put in our family of hippos. And again I had a bit of fun with this. Creating this building was good. That was quite a challenge, but I really enjoyed doing that, and it's turned out really nice actually. Got these lovely fountains along here, and the people are actually in the zoo and walking about as well. So far so good. Now today's episode is going to be a big one. This is the most epic habitat that I've built so far in this game, in any of my zoos. So let me show you where it's going to go. Now, like I said, the name of this zoo is Volcano Bay, and that is because when I artificially generated this landscape, it created this, which to me looked like a dormant volcano, hence the name. So this is very cool, this place. And it's just crying out for a habitat to be put in it. And so that is what I've done. Now, I've actually started already, you can see here, with a bit of the barrier work. Just testing out whether I could fill this up with water and use the barriers to create nice little glass viewing areas here. So my thinking was I wanted this to be filled with water and to have viewing areas certainly in this bit, because in here, if you look in here, it's actually really dark. There we go, I can turn a light on. So you've got these little tunnels that lead to the outside world, you see. So this is all artificial. This was made by the game. I didn't do any of this. So there's several of these tunnels that lead into the volcano. And they come inside, and then you've got a sort of an area here where you can see into the big gap, and then it leads off back out this way again. So that was, for me, that was just crying out for a big glass wall here, so you could fill this up with water on the other side and have animals swimming around, and you could just stand in and watch them. So that was my idea. I also wanted to create another viewing area in this wall over here, so I'll show you that as and when it gets done. There's also a ledge here, so I thought this would be the perfect sort of level for the water to come up to here, and use this as the land area and the entrance where the keepers can get in as well. And so that's what I do. And yeah, I mean, it's turned out absolutely amazing. I wasn't too sure what animals I wanted to put in, but there's not that much choice when it comes to water. So I chose to go with the grey seals. Just because I really like them, and I thought it'd be good to have a whole load of them swimming around in here. So there we go. Now, when it comes to access to this area, obviously it's a long way away from the main entrance area. So there's going to be some crazy pathways coming up here. They're all temporary because they look ridiculous. They fly up in the air and they curl around and they join over here, and I end up with a viewing area up here as well, which again is connected with some pathways coming down here. So yeah, it's all very random on the outside, but the actual habitat itself is exactly finished and kind of how I want it to look in the end. So there we go. That's the plan, and I'm sure obviously you've seen the thumbnail, so you get a bit of an idea of what it looks like, but believe me, there's so much that's not in that thumbnail picture. There's a lot going on in this habitat, so I'm going to crack on and show you what I did next. I can't remember the order that I did things, and I was moving around a lot when I was building this because there's so much going on. So in each segment of this video, I will occasionally miss things that I've added in and have to point them out later, but you know, you'll catch up and we'll get there in the end. So yeah, let's move on, shall we, and see what I did next. Okay, so you can see now I have filled it with water. Let me just adjust the sun actually. Let's see. Here we go, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Yeah, the sun was in completely the wrong place. Okay, so I filled it with water. As you can see, there's also a few seals walking around. What am I talking about? Swimming around. This land area wasn't large enough, so I've extended this out. So they've got this lovely big sort of beach area now, so the seals can come up and bask out on there. The entrance is in here, and I've just made it a sort of a concrete wall here. I think that looks kind of cool, just hidden into the natural rock face there. And there's still some more seals coming in. I'm not sure how many I end up with in the end. Quite a few. I put a keeper hut obviously out here, just temporary, and I'll show you what I mean about the pathways. Crazy, as you can see, completely insane pathways, but you know, eventually they will become proper pathways. So, ooh, what have we got here? I can't quite remember what's what. Yes, so let me show you this from the inside. So we have our main viewing area, which is what I showed you originally. So that is over here. Have I got the light turned on or not? Yes, I have. It's still very dark, unfortunately. So this is the tunnel here. So I've got a pathway that comes all the way through here and leads out. Eventually that will get connected. So yeah, so the pathway comes in. People can sit down here and have a look out and see them swimming around and then walk back out. But as you can see in the distance here, I've also put in another viewing area. So I dug this land out along here. And if I disappear into here, you'll see. So this is another entranceway that's coming in here. So it comes in the side here. You come in and you can see the water with the animals swimming around here, and this loops around the outside here. I absolutely love this. It's I was very pleased when I came up with this little idea. All the way through here, and then it leads back out again there. So it's like an underwater viewing tunnel, which is not very easy to do in the game, like traditional underwater viewing areas where you have a sort of a domed tunnel actually in the water. I think that is technically possible in the game. I'm sure I've seen people do it, but it's not designed to be in the game. So you have to kind of cheat, I believe, with that sort of thing. But I thought this worked just as well. I thought the shape of this water area just lent itself to having this glass barrier along here as a viewing area. So yeah, I was really pleased with how that turned out. So you now have two areas there where you can get right under the water and view the seals as they swim around in their massive dormant volcano, which is pretty cool. Obviously it all looks a lot better once I've decorated more and got some lighting into the tunnels as well, but for now I just need to get the basic shapes in place and obviously get the terrain work done as well. So that's the basic layout now of our habitat. So without further delay, let's move on and see what I got up to next. So just a small update, this one, really just to show you how I've managed to get the tunnels lit up. Firstly, I put in some nice pillars here, covered up obviously the gaps in, or the joins in the glass. I went with these sorts of pillars because I love the idea of it almost looking like an old temple. That was mainly because I knew what I wanted to do in the middle here, which obviously you'll get to see a bit later on. I had an idea of what I wanted to build in here, so I wanted it to match what I used for the sort of the architecture around the outside as well. But if we go into the tunnels here, you'll see that I've put a load of red lighting in here, so this tunnel can actually be walked through properly now, and all the way out as well. These lights are just completely randomly put on the walls. I wanted that. I didn't want anything too formal looking. I wanted it all a bit all over the place. But I love this. I think that looks really nice on the rock face here. And then I did the same up in this tunnel as well. If we come into here, so again the red lighting randomly put on the rock face up there. Now I did have a bit of a problem with this glass here, and in the end it meant that I've concreted the two end segments here and here. Now I can't actually completely remember this. It was a little while ago that I did this, but I was having real problems with this piece here. It was sort of corrupting. The graphics were corrupting for some reason. So I've ended up having to make it one-way glass, this bit, which I didn't want to do, but it was the only way that I got it looking half decent, and it does look good. So I was pretty happy with the look in the end. But yes, I'm not entirely sure what was going on, but it was something when I had this as a two-way glass. You ended up with this weird sort of line coming sort of a third of the way along the piece of glass here. It would be sort of 2/3 of it would look really dark and 1/3 of it looked really light, even though it was all one piece. And I really don't know what was causing that. It was getting quite frustrating. So in the end, I've made it one way, and it just works. So I don't mind that. And actually, I thought it made sense to have these two end segments as concrete, just to make it look a bit more solid and realistic. So you haven't got the glass actually sort of molding into the rocks. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for that to be the case. It makes more sense for the concrete to be at the ends. I can't remember, did I do that down here? No, I didn't. Down here I got away with it. I just blended the glass into the rocks. I didn't want this segment here or a segment here to be concrete. It wouldn't have looked right. I just wanted the glass to go all the way here into the rocks. So yeah, it's really cool. I absolutely love this look around here. This tunnel just worked out so well. Everything I did on this habitat actually worked out really well, and you know that does happen a lot, but sometimes things don't go well and it can be frustrating, but when they do, it's very satisfying. When you actually try something and it comes off and you think, wow, okay, I've had an idea and I've actually implemented it, and it's worked really well. Yeah, it's if you play this game yourself, you know that sort of feeling when you get something right and you just think, wow, I'm better than I thought I was. Okay, so let's crack on, shall we? That's basically sort of all the main infrastructure done now. So then it was all about decorating. I've got a big project to do in the middle of the water here, obviously decorating around up here, details in the tunnels, and then ultimately I decided I wanted another viewing area up on the top of the volcano over here, and that was a big project in itself. So yeah, still lots to cover. So let's load up the next save point. Right, so a bit of detailing down in the tunnels this time. I've also just done some painting along here, just to get the terrain looking correct, because it didn't make sense having grass here. So this has all become sort of rock and mud here. But the main work I've been doing is down in the tunnels. So let's disappear into here and have a look, shall we? So I've done some rock work in here. Obviously being underground, it makes sense that you would have a whole load of rocks, so kind of blending in these things, because what I've done, I've covered up the pathway at the front here with this this lovely rustic flooring. This is what I always use the roof stuff as flooring. It works so well. So this is the European rustic roof piece here, or I don't know, is it a floor piece? Actually, it is called a floor piece, a stone wall floor. So yeah, I guess you can use it for whatever you want. Anyway, I've used that. So that covers up all of this here, and then it just blends in with the pathway, which I think looks pretty good actually. But to blend in all the edges and things, I've used rock work, which looks good as well. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, nearly sneezed at you down the microphone then. Sorry about that. Pure professionalism, I have to say. It's the last thing you want to hear is me sneezing at you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right, so as you can see, I'll put some giant, some giant signs on this concrete here as well. I thought I might as well just make them as big as possible. Why not? I've got all this space to use. It makes sense to have giant signs, doesn't it? And then some benches. So really simple. Just thought it made sense to have benches along the back here, so people could just sit down and watch the animals through the glass. Also just blended in with some rock work along here as well, and also just put some curbs on the pathways as well. I just thought they looked a bit better with proper edges to the pathway. Got a bench randomly over here as well. So that's that tunnel, and then the other one is pretty much the same idea. So again, I'll put curbs on the pathways and various bits of rock work and some benches and bins, a couple of benches along here so people can sit down. Obviously this is quite a long tunnel, so I haven't put the benches as tightly together as I did in the other one, but yeah, so there's plenty of seating spaces along here, and of course people in real life could just perch on the rocks as well as the benches. So that goes all the way around this tunnel. I've also blended in at the edge of the water here with some flat rock work along the bottom of here, and then again just some rocks at the end, just blending the glass into the terrain here. So yeah, all pretty simple, straightforward stuff, but it just kind of finishes off these tunnels really nicely. So what I've done in here as well, as you can see, I created this little thing here. So this is just some what have you got, some Taiga rocks, and then you've got these little vent systems here, and so that creates sort of a shell, and then under here I've just got the little fish feeders. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I just wanted to hide those feeders. So you've got one there, you've got one over there. It's kind of cool that you get little bubbles coming up, isn't it? It's good. And then there's a couple of those up here as well. So they're all obviously positioned so that when you're in the tunnels you can watch the animals come and feed. It just looks like the fish are being released out of these vents. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Right, okay, that's that then. So the tunnels are basically done, I think. I don't think I did too much more to these. That was pretty much it. So that's that. I believe I probably start work in the center area here next, but I will have to load up my next save point and find out. Right, so I've been busy working on the centerpiece of our underwater area. So let's dive in. Get the pun. Sorry, that was awful. Let's dive in and have a look. So this is what I wanted. I wanted some kind of a temple in here, so like a ruined temple. So this is what I came up with. So I've created this whole area as one big blueprint here, using various temple pieces. You've got the basic flooring here. Then you've got these lovely temple stone walls. I've used them sideways here to create a sort of a second layer of ground. Just piling them up, and then I've used this cool piece, this Indian temple piece is the top here. Obviously it's not a real temple, it's not meant to look like a real temple, it's meant to be something that they've built artificially for the animals to swim around. So you kind of get the impression of it. I like these beams, even though they're different colour. It's very tricky that you haven't quite got the right pieces in the game to do exactly what I wanted. But you can just kind of do your best with what you've got. I love these pieces, the rubble pieces. These are really, really helpful. You just scatter them all over the place, and yeah, they definitely give that impression of a ruin, which is good. And then you've got all these extra little pieces off to the side as well. You've got another temple top piece there just buried in the ground, various bits of rubble and walls over here. You've got some more walls up here as well. And the animals, the cool thing is they can actually swim all the way through it if they want. I don't know if you can really tell from the traversable area or not. No, you can't, but they do. They can actually swim, certainly through this underneath bit here. They can go in one way and out the other, which is very cool. That's what I wanted. And they get very close to all of this. Actually, they do swim kind of right through most of this. So yeah, so there we go. So that looks pretty cool. I was very pleased with how it all turned out. Obviously, foliage wise, I'll just put some ferns and some of these these are my favourite pieces, aren't they? As you know, these planted wooden panels. So just a few of those dotted around, creating that sort of impression of some sort of underwater moss growing around here. Just little detail. It doesn't need too much. Obviously, these ferns are one of my favourite pieces as well. So inevitably, there's going to be ferns, isn't there? You know me. If you've watched any of my videos, you know how much I love these ferns and these grass panels. But you can see the effect these grass panels have, just creating that sort of layer of greenery on the ground. They're very helpful pieces. Now lighting will happen towards the end of the project, because it looks good, but when you obviously if you go to nighttime, it gets rather dark, so you can't really see a lot. So there is some better lighting, although it has to be said the tunnels look cool. At least if you come in here at nighttime, at least the tunnels are lit up well. That's probably the best way of showing you what I've done actually in the tunnels, is putting it over to nighttime. So yeah, there we go. It looks cool, and it looks kind of cool from the outside at night. Actually, you can really see the tunnels under there. Although you can't see this one obviously because it's one-way glass, and if you come into here, it kind of blocks out all the light from there when you go backwards through this bit of glass. So that's a shame, because I'd like you to be able to see the tunnel a bit better from within this tunnel. But you can't until you come out into the water, so that's a little bit odd. I wish that would be sorted out. You can see what I'm doing there, just moving through the glass, and it completely blots out all the red light coming from over here. But there we go, that's life, isn't it? You can't have everything perfect, can you? Right, let's get it back to daytime. So there we go, that's our ruin, and as you can see, the seals have a great time swimming around in there. And no matter what I built in the middle here, I was never going to worry about their traversable area. They've got tons of space, as you can see. It's a massive area, so I can easily fit a lot more seals in here, and they're always going to be happy. Let's be honest. They're going to love this area, and they do absolutely love it. Okay, let's move on. I have no idea what I did next, but let's go find out. Okay, so I've done a few little bits this cut. So first, you can see I've put some floating platoons. Are they platoons? Is that no? That's not what I'm looking for, is it? That's the wrong word. The platforms. Yeah, platoons are the bits that stick out from the side, aren't they? Yeah, these floating platforms. So you've got 3 of those in there. You have the rubber duck, of course, because I can't have a body of water without a rubber duck in it, can I? And then up here, I've done some work on the land. So I've done some rock work along the back here. I don't know, I just thought it needed some rocks along the back there. It looked a little bit too bare, having just the natural terrain there. And the seals have still got plenty of space to come out and bask here. I mean, seals spend most of their time in the water anyway, so they don't need a huge amount of land. They've got a few enrichment items to play with up here, and also I wanted to create a sort of a sheltered bed area for them as well, somewhere they can get away from the public eye. So really simple. I just built a couple of little walls here and here, just to create this sort of hidden bedroom area back here. Obviously the keepers come into this area, but the public can't see. Like I said, and you'll have probably seen from the thumbnail, eventually there is a viewing area over here, but even from up here it still gives the seals somewhere to go where they can't be seen. So just a couple of very simple walls, got some bedding in here. As you can see, they are happily lying on their beds in here. A couple of enrichment items as well, and some lights. So I will show you the nighttime viewing in just a second, because I also came down into here and did some lighting down here for the temple underwater. Oh yes, you've got this cool little submarine thing as well, this submarine buoy. Very cool little thing. I haven't seen them use it yet, but certainly I've seen some of the other things use it. I think I saw otters use it in one of my habitats. Very cool, I like that. I don't think, oh yeah, there's another one up here. I don't think I did anything in the tunnels in this cut. No, I think that's all pretty similar in there. I think it was just mostly just working out here. So let me just put that over to nighttime, and you can see, so there's just some spotlights basically in here to highlight this temple. So if you were in the tunnel here, as you can see, it's just lighting it up a bit stronger than it was before, just showing it off at night time. I think that looks subtle but nice. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. And then up here again, just some basic lighting, just a few little dot lights back here, lighting up that area. And then in their bed, I've coloured the lights so it's a bit of a more soothing sort of an orange colour back there for them. So yeah, really simple stuff, but it's just, you know, just those little finishing touches. Another little pale light actually over there with some rocks as well. So yeah, they don't need, you know, when it comes to lighting, less is more sometimes when it comes to lighting. So yeah, just subtle, and yeah, not too much. Cool. Okay. So that was yeah, not a huge amount done there, but just those little finishing touches. Getting certainly this temple lit up at night was quite an important thing. I just wanted to make sure that it could be seen properly at night time. Not that people are going to be in here at night time, I don't suppose, but there we go. You know, I'm going for sort of detail in this zoo, so that sort of thing I'm going to be doing all over. I'm going to make sure that the lighting is well done in this zoo, because it's something that I neglect quite often in a lot of my other zoos. I don't really bother with lighting because I never play the game at night. I never really let people come in at night either. In fact, I don't often let people into my zoos at all. But yeah, I want to play around with the lighting a bit more this time and try and get it looking as good as I can. So there we go. Right. No idea what I do next, but let's load it up and find out. Right, so it was at this point that I decided to create the viewing area above the habitat, which is just off camera behind me here, so I won't show you that just yet. But because I did that, I wanted to also have just a bit of extra land here where the seals could come and bask and be viewed from above. So I've gone with one of these in-game jetties here. Had to play around with it a bit because the traversable area on these things is terrible because they have these lights around the outside. You actually find that the seals can't go on it at all, which is really silly. So I have to remove a whole load of the lights. So I've opened up this end completely, and this bit here. So at least the seals can get on and off of it now. If I show you that, they can get on here and then get on here, and they can just about walk through this gap. But if you leave all the other lights on, they can't use it at all, which is really silly. But there we go. But that's cool. It's a cool little in-game thing, and just some subtle lighting left on it as well. So at least it's illuminated a little bit at night time too. And this is the big project. Here we go. So I wanted a big viewing platform up here, which involved an epic staircase coming down here, and I brought this round and I've linked it to one of the walkway tunnels that goes down there into the viewing tunnels. Again, obviously all of this is subject to change out here. I did love the idea of this staircase though. I love the idea of this grand epic staircase leading up here, so this does stay and it always will, and I've decorated all of this, and it leads up to this area here. And obviously this needs a lot of support and a lot of decoration. So this is what I came up with. I wanted something really ornate looking, so similar to what I did with the lake back at the entrance. And I love these pieces, these little brick pieces. What's it? The concrete wall. I don't know, what is that? Coin? I don't know. Whatever. These brick pieces that go on the edges, they absolutely are fantastic. They just make it pop, don't they? They're great. So this is just simple concrete wall panels with these on the sides. I wanted to create a pattern that I could just sort of copy and repeat sideways. I've also angled it. I didn't want it just straight down. I thought that wouldn't look very good at all, so I angled it backwards as well. And then I've also gone over here. You've got more of the concrete panels. I've got these breeze block edges down each side, and then just a little bit of sort of ornate limestone rock stuff there. And I couldn't resist using these big lion heads again. I just love these. They're just awesome, aren't they? They just look amazing. So basically that's it. So that's what I've come up with, and then that gets copied sideways to create this big supporting wall for this this viewing platform. So I haven't actually taken the screenshot yet that I'm going to use as the thumbnail, but I suspect this will feature on that screenshot. If it doesn't, then that's a surprise to you, but obviously if I did use this as the screenshot, then this doesn't come as any sort of surprise, and probably this temple did. So those are my two options for screenshots. It would be the underwater temple, possibly like that, or this viewing area. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with yet. I'm going to take a couple of photos and then decide. So one of these you will have seen on the thumbnail. One of them was a pleasant surprise, or possibly an unpleasant surprise if you didn't like it, but who knows. So anyway, sorry, I'm just waffling on now. Right, so yeah, so this was quite a big project to do up here. Basically, as I built this, it got more and more complicated, trying to get the edging looking good, filling in the gaps at the end, and obviously there's a lot of space down the sides here as well that I've got to try and fill in with stuff. But in the end, I think it looks really good. I just kept on adding to it and making it more over the top and expensive looking. And in the end, it's just balmy, but I love it. So yeah, really cool. Anyway, let's should we crack on? I think this is basically all I was working on next. So I will keep an eye on the rest, because I do still do more bits and pieces on the rest of the habitat, but mostly I was focused on this now. So let's load up the next point, shall we, and see what I did next. Right, so I've extended the wall sideways. I've also added some more designs on here. Just having the one lion wasn't enough. I wanted a bit more. So I've used all these little stone pieces here, just blended them together to create an extra little pattern there, and then another one of these as well, top and bottom. And I just thought that looked a bit better than just having the lion heads there. I just felt like I needed more ornate rock work there, and then just copied sideways, ended each end here with the out pillar. I think that looks amazing. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Actually, it's so over the top. It looks like a dam, doesn't it? Which is kind of the look I was going for. I'm really glad that I angled it as well. I think that makes it look even better. I think if that was flat, it would just look a bit square and silly, but having it angled worked really nicely. Then I had to try and cap off the top. So I did this. What have I used? I've used a plinth, or a couple of plinths, all kind of sunk together and then copied around to create this double layer effect. Now this I decided to square it off. Obviously the pathways itself, as you can see, are curved at the end. I might have been able to use a grid to get that squared off. I think I did try that, but the paths didn't go to where I wanted them to go. If you used the grid pattern, they ended up too long. And I think here this one ended up going into the mountain here. So I decided just to keep it square. Sorry, to keep it round, and then to square it off using this surround area here, because I knew I wanted to cover this up anyway, similar to what I did down in this tunnel, where I used the this rustic stuff here to create the ground. I knew that I wanted to do that up here anyway, to cover this up, so it wasn't too much of an issue. Obviously, because you've got the curbs at the sides here, it does cause a bit of an issue when you actually get the people walking on it, because their feet disappear down into what you put on top, but you know, such is life. But anyway, so that's yeah, that's our big viewing area, sort of the main structure of it in place now. I think it looks really nice like that. It's so grand, isn't it? I mean, if you zoom out, look at that. It's a massive project, this one. It's bonkers, but I love it, and that's kind of the point of this zoo. It's over the top, but fun. I had a lot of fun. Believe me, I had so much fun building this. Yeah, I really did. Right. Anyway, let's move on and see how it progresses. Right, it's looking a little bit more secure now, isn't it? So I've bolstered the edging with this stuff. What are they? I can never remember what these are called. The balustrade, that's the one. It's again, it's a fantastic piece, isn't it? It's awesome. Can be a bit tricky to maneuver it so it all overlaps properly, particularly on the corners here. But I managed to do it without having to overlap them too much. But you'll see, trying to fit them into a certain space like this, so these two here have to overlap, and it's very hard to get them looking perfect, but yeah, I think I've just about got away with it there. So those obviously go all the way around the edges. I then wanted something grand on the corners here, and so this is what I came up with. It's a very over the top fountain. Love this. So this, what did I use at the bottom here? So you've got a concrete fountain pedestal, and I just got 4 of those together. It just created something a bit different looking here. I wanted something that was sort of patterned rather than just using plaster blocks to make it square. So using individual pieces like this together created this quite unique looking pattern. So I liked that, and then I just found all the fountain pieces I could. I sunk the big piece in there. Got a little one on top, then another little one there sunk in, and then another little one there. I stuck a seal on the top, sorry, an otter on the top, and then put a water fountain in, and then that's obviously just duplicated there. So again, it's just grand, it's over the top, it's daft. I mean, it's just a bit mad, really, isn't it? But it's exactly what I wanted. And then continued this along here, and eventually this will all be continued here and down this pathway. And then the floor is made up again with just these flat roof panels here. You know, again, just a couple of different bits of building just to make sure everything gets covered properly. It's very tricky trying to do this perfectly, but you have to kind of create multiple versions of them and overlap them all, and they end up looking really good. It looks like marble. That was kind of the look I was going for. So yeah, I mean, obviously in real life this could never happen. Physically it could happen, but people would just climb up on here and fall to their deaths. So yeah, realistically, no, you wouldn't be able to get away with this. It would have to be a really tall, caged surround, or, you know, electrocuted fence or something, wouldn't it? But it's a game, so you can get away with a lot more. And it's, I mean, look at it, it's just so daft. I love it. I love just being a bit over the top in this game. So yeah, anyway, there we go. That's how it's looking now. So I've still got the stairways to sort out. Now this was tricky because you're working on an angle, and it's never easy doing things at an angle in this game. So it took me a while, but it does turn out really nice. And then I had the issue of obviously all of these gaps here, trying to fill all of this in on both sides, and what to do here. I did try at one point putting in some little shops here and connecting them in here, but that didn't work out. I don't think it did anyway. I'm trying to remember what I ended up with. I think I just end up with sort of garden space here, but we'll find out, won't we? Like I say, it's been a couple of weeks since I did this, and I've been doing all sorts of other things since then, so my memory is shocking, quite frankly. So I instantly forget what I've done after I've done it. So this is as much as a surprise to me as it is to you, which is kind of fun, going back and actually seeing the process of what I did, because at the time when I build these things, I'm so kind of in the zone with it. I just build and forget how I did it. So it's kind of fun for me to actually come back and talk about all these stages as I go along. So let's load up the next one, shall we, and find out what I did next. Right, so you can see here I had the idea of having some sort of picnic tables up here. This was after I think I tried putting in some actual guest facilities here. It just didn't work out. So I went with some vending machines in the end, partly because I wanted, once all the pathways were connected, I wanted guests to actually be able to come up here and to give them a reason to come up here. And if you've got food and drink up here, they will actually walk up here, because I don't know if they'll come up here to view from up here. I'm really not sure how the game works these things out, whether it would class this as an actual viewing area for this, or if they will just walk down in the tunnels. So I wanted something up here that A, looked good, and B, actually was practical as far as the game was concerned. So this is what I came up with, some of these restaurant tables. Again, I think these don't get used unless they're connected to a restaurant, so that may be something that I have to change. In fact, I think I do change that. You might find in the next cut actually these tables have changed, because I think it occurred to me that they wouldn't get used. So I think that might change, but I'm not sure. I love these. These aquatic picnic canopies are awesome. I think they just look fantastic. So gone with some of them. It's uneven, which I kind of like actually. So it's not all symmetrical. You've got 3 on that side and 2 on that side. And some lights as well, some street lights, just to give it some subtle illumination at night time. Then I have continued the work along here. So again, 2 more fountains. I've just copied these fountains back onto this corner. And then I have started work on the staircase here. So you've got the Again, these plinths, aren't they? Yes, the plinths going down the side here and on this side, and obviously you've also got the balustrade on that side, and eventually that would all get copied over onto this side as well. Really tricky doing this, because for some reason when you start doing this and then moving it, it never quite matches up. It doesn't line up quite perfectly on each side. It can be very, very frustrating, because the slightest angle change at one end, when you move it all the way down here, it becomes a massive angle change. So it's it's very, very tricky to do, but I got there in the end. Just a bit frustrating along the way. But this area up here now is starting to look really cool. I absolutely love these fountains. They're so daft and over the top, but hey, they kind of stand out, don't they? Which is what I was going for. So yeah, there we go. So not too much more, just to finish off the staircase and then to tidy up all of this this area around the edge as well. Obviously you've got quite a big gap down this side that I needed to fill in, so I definitely needed a whole load of foliage, and then down this side I believe I did foliage as well, and then these gaps around the top here as well. And I do a bit of foliage, I think, around some of this area. I'm not too sure. All I can do is load up the next point, and I think the next point is the last point, so I think that will be the last cut for the episode, and then we'll see the final product, I think. But bear with me, let's load it up and take a look. So yes, this is our final cut. So I did just some basic foliage on here. I wanted to create a sort of a beach impression, so just a few little palm trees out here for our seals to bask under. I thought that was sort of subtle and effective. But the main work that I've done is over here, finishing this area off, and hey presto, here we go. So I did change the tables, as you can see. I went with these modern looking tables, and then I've sunk these lights into the middle as well. So I'll show you the nighttime look in a minute. As you can see, I've also gone down to 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and moved the vending machines into this corner here. So now these can actually be used properly, because they as the restaurant tables, I don't think they would have been used, whereas now they will be, which is cool. The staircase is done, so duplicated from one side over to the other, and then a whole load of lights going down there as well. Had to create a sort of a barrier down this wall here. Obviously the bottom isn't finished yet, that will be done at a later date. I did just connect this staircase in here, just so that it's all usable and connected up. So I've then gone with foliage all the way down this side. I just wanted to finish that off. I thought that looked really nice, just having all these bushes coming down this side, and then some of that is over on this side as well, with some rocks at the bottom here, just to kind of cap it all off there. And then some extra bushes. You've got all these brambles. Are these brambles? I can't quite remember. No, the arrowwood bush, sorry. Just finishing that off. And then this top area here, I've used the arrowwood bush again, because you've got this huge hole under here. So I've just used the arrowwood stuff to cover all of that up. And then gone with some nice formal cypress trees in here. Again, these trees are a sign of extravagance. I mean, when you see these, you immediately think of Italy, or I do anyway. You think of Italy and Italian architecture, because I often use these tall, thin trees to kind of punctuate their gardens and draw your eye in, and to, they use them in rows down the side of pathways, that sort of thing. So they're very formal looking trees. So that's what I've gone with here, because this is quite a sort of Italian style area with these big fountains and this the balustrade here. So I thought these looked really, really cool, and I think it works out very nicely actually. Just caps off that top area there, just makes the whole thing look finished and suitably over the top. To think that these huge cypress trees have been planted up here, because they certainly wouldn't have been growing up here naturally. So they've been probably helicoptered, you would think, in to this area and then planted. And obviously, I mean, I have no idea how any of this would have been built, but they could do it if they had enough money, which is obviously the point of this whole zoo. So there we go. That is the finished viewing platform and the whole area, in fact. So let me just put it to night time so you can see all my subtle lighting that I've done up here. So I particularly like what I did with the fountains, which was I sunk a light in each of the fountains and hid it. I think it's hidden in this bottom basin here, pointing upwards, and obviously just coloured orange. So all the fountains are lit up really nicely. I think they look great. Then you've got all the lights around here, the actual lamp posts. I also put some lights underneath this area here, just shining downwards towards the lion heads. I did at one point think about putting some lights down here somewhere in the water shining up at the lion heads, but I couldn't quite get it to look right. It looked a little bit daft, so I've just gone with this lighting at the top, and I think that looks really nice actually. Just highlighting the details under there. And then, like I said, I put these lights in the middle of the tables here, and I've done this before, and I think it looks really, really good, especially with this style of table, this modern style. It looks really cool having a light right in the middle of it. And of course you get some lights from the vending machines as well, and then you've got the lighting all the way down the side of the staircase here, looking really nice and just showing up some of the foliage at night time as well. So this staircase is finished, so that's how it is going to stay. Like I said, all of this at the bottom here is subject to change depending on what I end up doing down here. What I'd like to do eventually is actually have some habitats on these areas out here somehow. I don't know how yet, but I'd like to try and do habitats somehow around here. Habitats or buildings, if I can come up with ideas for interesting buildings and things. Really not sure. We shall see. But yeah, this was a big project. This took me quite a long time, and it's turned out fantastic. I think I've really had so much fun with it. It's completely stupid and over the top and unrealistic, but that is kind of what I was going for. And I've had so much fun building this, and hopefully you've enjoyed looking at how I did it and put it all together. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like what I've done? Have you got any ideas or suggestions on what I could have done better, or anything I could add on to it? I mean, I'm always up for making big changes. For example, one thing I would like to try and do is get a monorail or something up here somewhere, maybe sort of skirting this ring of the volcano here, so that people could be riding the monorail and looking down into the volcano. So that's something that I might look into at some point. But yeah, there we go. That's kind of it for now. As you can see, people are coming up, so the zoo is open and the pathways are in. Again, completely random and ridiculous pathways, but they're being used. People are coming up to view. Actually, are they coming up onto the viewing platform yet? I'd be interested. Should I just speed it up and just see if people are actually going to come up and view from up here? Look, we got people walking around here. So are they going to come up, or are they going to go down into the tunnel? What do we think? I hope they're going to come up. Yes, they are. Look, that's awesome. Now, I'll be interested to know if they come up to view or if they're coming up to get food and drink. What do we think? Takes some ages. I mean, they'd be knackered by the time they got up here, wouldn't they? Oh, they turned around. Did you really? You came all the way up there. No. Now they're going again. Okay. Heading to the... Yeah, see, they're going to the vending machine. Oh, I think they need the loo. I'm not surprised after walking all this way. Look, this scenery is epic. At the same time, this place looks boring. I'm not sure you can have those two thoughts at the same time. Oh dear, that's quite funny. But hey, they're up here. They're using stuff. Andy's going to sit down. That's great. Oh, that really hit the spot. I got to get something to drink. Okay, so they've done that. They've had a drink. They really need the loo. Yeah, I may have to put toilets in somewhere. Never mind. We'll see how that goes. What are these guys doing? Are they here exploring the grey seals? Yeah. So this area is connected to the grey seals. So that's good. So people are going to come up here hopefully to look down. I've seen bigger and better zoos. Well, yeah, I kind of understand that. I'm not sure you'll have seen anything much bigger than this, but okay. Anyway, people are coming up. I don't really care why they're coming up here, as long as they come up there. Wow, there we go. So that is our grey seal volcano habitat. And like I said, it was epic. And that is what I'm going for in this zoo. Big, brash, in your face, over the top, epic. So let me know what you think. Do you like my grey seal habitat? I hope you do. I've certainly had fun creating it. Next episode, I can tell you I've not recorded it yet, but I have finished building it, and it is over here in this impression in the ground here, which inevitably gets filled with water. And I can tell you that it is saltwater crocodiles, and I've had a lot of fun building a large crocodile habitat in this area here. Not quite as epic as our grey seals, but I don't think many things are going to be as epic as this. But it's certainly an interesting habitat, and yeah, I've had a good time doing that one. So I will be recording that commentary in a moment, and I'm going to try and release these. At the moment, I'm sort of keeping up with an episode once a week. I'm releasing them on a Sunday at the moment, and then I'm doing my Tiny Zoo episodes on a Saturday. Now, I don't know if I can continue with the pace of that going forwards. We shall have to see. I've got obviously all my other various videos that I'm recording on the channel as well, and I am in the process of moving house. So there's a lot going on at the moment. So yeah, we'll just have to see, and I will just get these videos out as quickly as I can. But I'm not going to rush, you know, I'm not going to get things out just for the sake of it. I'm going to make sure that I'm happy with the results. So if a week goes by and you don't get an episode of Volcano Bay, then, you know, I apologise, but it's for a reason. It's because these things do take time, and I'm sure you can appreciate that I don't have 24 hours a day to record these things. I just have to kind of slot them in around my full-time job and my home life, and you know, and just do them when I can. So there we go. You just enjoy them when they arrive, basically. Right, there we go. So that is that's the end of the episode. So thank you very much. I know it's been quite a long one, but I think you'll appreciate that there was a lot to talk about and a lot to show off today. But hopefully it's been worth it. So thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for tuning in as well, and spending a bit of your spare time with me here in Planet Zoo. And hopefully I will see you again very soon. But until then, do take care of yourselves, and thanks again. Bye for now.